Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Skagit Storytellers. My guest for this episode is Michaud. Zach has been on this podcast more times than anyone, even though this is his only second published episode. I had some audio problems on a couple of them, but Zach's always up for a good time. I wanted him to come on this episode too because I was at a show of his recently and he played a new song. And as president of the Cedar Woolley chapter of the Zach Michaud fan club, I did not realize he had a new song. So I said, hey, you got to come on the pod and you have to play that song. So he did. Zach was recently at a couple of festivals, and so I really wanted him to talk about that. I wanted him to name drop all my favorite comedians, and he did. It's a great episode. So this week today is August 8th. Hopefully I'll get this out today, if not tomorrow. Zach's playing a show at the Mountain Song in Marble Mount. He's opening for pretty much nothing, and music starts at 5. I love the Mountain Song, even though I kind of haven't been there since they've opened. I went when they were still in the opening phase. I met with Zoe and Eve. I had a great time. They cooked for me. Their food is so good. It's not regular pub food. All their food is local and fresh as they can make it. It's really impressive. They also come to my trivia nights on Wednesday at the Hub. So they support me. I really want to support them. I just haven't made it out there yet. But Sunday, 5 o'clock, they'll be playing, or they'll have live music out there. So I'll head out there. Speaking of trivia, I only have 2 more trivia dates left. This Wednesday, August 9th, and next Wednesday, August 16th. So definitely make it out to those 2. I start back at school on unofficially I have something on the 22nd, but then our first day is the 23rd. Kids come back, I think, on the 29th. So I got to go back 100%. I can't do both things. So yeah, 2 more trivia nights. Make sure you come out. Who knows? Maybe I'll do one throughout the year. I'm not really sure. I don't want to commit to anything. This podcast is kind of my number one priority. Also, tonight, Tuesday, if I get this out in time, is my radio show. It's called This Song Will Change Your Life, and it's from 6 to 8 on 90.1 FM if you're upriver. If you're not, then you can listen online at ksvu.org. And it's so fun. I love it. My guest today is my friend Brian. My guest next week is my brother Caden. The week after that, I believe it's Pete, a really good musician from Bellingham. I have a bunch of people lined up for September too, so it's fun. I love it. If you want to be a guest, just let me know. And if you want to be a DJ, let me know too. They're always looking for more DJs. So radio show, podcast, trivia. What else is happening? I think that's it. There's probably so many things. I know there's AmpFest in Anacortes on September 2nd. So that looks really fun. I know pretty much nothing's playing. I think Turnkey Runner's playing, The Enthusiasts. Zach is playing, probably a few other bands. That looks really fun. So that's on Saturday, September 2nd. I was recently in Anacortes last week because Olive was doing a string camp at Buxton's for Anacortes Music Project. It was amazing. She loves the violin. She really wants to learn how to play it better. She loved it from day one. They had the best teachers there. Barbara from the Skagit Symphony. It was, I was so happy. I was going to make her play it anyway, because Rankins do hard things, even if we don't want to. But the fact that she really loves it is awesome. I mean, I know so many violin, fiddle players that she can play with. So yeah, lots of opportunity. And it's encouraging me as well to dust off my trumpet some more and start playing that again. So, all right, Anacortes, podcast, trivia. I think that's about it. I have about 12 episodes that I need to edit still. And I think I have maybe 6 lined up before school starts. So my goal is to record a whole bunch and then put them out once a week just throughout the fall, and then maybe start to record a little bit maybe in November. We'll see. I don't really have a plan. It's just I just know that I'm going to keep doing it, but just not to this crazy extent that I'm doing it right now. I want to thank everyone for listening. I think I'm at like 1,200 and something listens, which overall it doesn't really mean anything. But when you text me and you not only tell me that you listened to a certain episode, but you liked it and why, oh, my heart just explodes. So thank you. If no one listened, I'd still do it. But the fact that people are listening and they, are really enjoying it, that's awesome. So if you have any ideas for guests, let me know. I'll chat with anyone. Yeah, that's about it. I have a slight cough today, so I'm not going to keep going. Enjoy this episode. Zach's awesome. He plays all the time. If he has time, he'll make posters. But if not, he'll always post on his Facebook page where he's at. He plays a mix of all ages and 21 and older shows. Like tonight, he's playing in Bellingham at the Ranch Room, Horseshoe Cafe in Bellingham. And then, like I said, he's playing Mountain Song in Marble Mount. He's probably playing somewhere Thursday and Friday, but I didn't look at the list. Sorry, Zach. One more thing I wanted to say about Concrete. There's free movies at the Concrete Theater. There's 2 more coming up. Sunday, August 13th at 2 o'clock, it's Tom and Jerry. And then the new Space Jam movie is Saturday, August 26th. Now, the reason why there's a gap in there is because the gap is for Cascade Days. So I believe the weekend of, like the 18th, 19th is Cascade Days. I don't know all the details. I haven't looked at it yet, but I know it's going to be a super fun time. It'll be awesome. I'm actually going to be working in Concrete at the Hub on that Saturday of Cascade Days, so make sure you come in and say hi. That'll be my last thing I'm doing upriver, besides the radio show, of course. But that'll be my last time working at the Hub or liquor store or trivia this summer, so make sure you come and say hi if you're not at band camp. All right, enjoy this day. It's a little cloudy, still kind of hot though. I have to go move some rose bushes. Not looking forward to it. Enjoy your day, and as always, go do something hard.
Howdy, partner. Welcome to one of the most northern parts of the United States of America. Travel with me upriver as we talk to a bunch of ladies and fellers and they share their tales of wit and wisdom. That's right, it's time again for Skagit Storytellers with Liz Rankin.
So you did the Gorge, and then the day after you did the Holler.
Yeah.
And then a couple days ago you did the Brody.
This Thursday through Sunday I was at Brody Nation,
right.
Down in Carnation. And for a majority of the days I was basically stage manager for the Koa River stage, Koa Driftwood stage. I used to run sound there all the time and be head sound guy for that particular stage, but the audio crew that they've been renting all their gear from and usually only have one guy that's part of the staff. He actually brought a full staff with him this year.
Wow.
So I got to work. Well, it's funny. I got to work differently. I was probably just as busy, but a little less stress on my point because when I'm running sound, I get really perfectionist. So people are trying to talk to me. It's I really could care less what you have to say right now. In the back of my head, it's just the kind of nodding and being oh yeah, no, that's great. I'm gonna stand over here now because the only reason I'm out here is I'm trying to EQ things. But so this year it was more just helping set up the stages, talking with the band, stuff like that. And then got a perform Sunday morning. I called it church. That's right. 2 festivals in a row. I do the Sunday morning set.
Do you prefer that Sunday morning set or do you care?
I mean, the earlier it is, the more gravelly it's going to be, it seems like these days.
Your voice, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
And just life in general.
The crowd?
No, just kind of.
The ground, no.
Sometimes. But yeah, so I actually started, I'm kind of having fun with it, just in the sense I call it church, and so far it's been probably the opposite of not exactly the most it wouldn't really be a good Catholic thing or something.
Got it.
But
I really wanted to go to the Holler because I think that was the 11th I think it was the 11th, because I got to run 11 miles that day. And I remember I texted you and I said, are you going to be there for sure? Because I thought you're the only reason why I wanted to go. And it's about an hour drive. But also I knew that you were really busy at the Fully Loaded Festival the day before. And you texted me back. I think you texted me back at 10 a.m. and you said, I'm about an hour away. I haven't slept yet. I'll be there soon.
Just coming off of hanging out at a comedy festival for the day and just like getting to hang out with like some of my favorites and stuff. I'm not going to name drop because people shouldn't do that. But
I wanted you to name drop.
Oh, okay.
So did you get to meet Bert?
Got to meet Bert for a little bit. Bert was okay. So the Gorge was the last day of the tour.
Okay.
They had been touring for
I didn't know that.
Good 3 months, 4 months
Wow.
straight,
That's
and
even
just
better.
doing a big wild cross country thing. So you could tell he was a bit tired. Now, Jeremy Steel Beans, he'd go up and any chance he got, he'd be talking to him and stuff. But as far as the road crew, he'd look over and be like, "Oh, hey guys," and then just walk away.
Right.
And that's kind of what was expected for. I mean, I was just on roadie duties,
Yeah.
and it wasn't about me.
Was
in a
Jeremy just there for the Gorge show?
So yeah.
Okay.
So he ended up getting to play right before first intermission. So he was the last band of the first half of the show.
Oh, okay.
Which means he actually went on after Mark Normand.
I just watched Mark Norman's special
He
this morning.
is
I love him.
the finest modern day comedian. He's so witty. His set was great, but catching him just him and Andrew Santino doing one-liners backstage and stuff. And I got to shoot some back and forth with Andrew Santino, which
You
was pretty
did?
fun. And I threw some jokes at him just trying to see. I think I got 2 authentic laughs and then just hey, I've heard that joke before. And he gave me this whole big spiel about how if you're going to borrow a joke, and he made sure to say borrow, that to make sure to call it either a street joke, that way you don't really have to remember who told you it. And he's going through that. Then he proceeds to go on stage later that night and use 3 jokes that were totally somebody else's, and I knew it. He just changed them around a little bit, and I'm just sitting there you son of a bitch. It's
a
still
street
hilarious.
Joke. It's fun.
It's a street joke. But that was really it was a neat. It was really surreal, and just I cried a couple times. So getting to watch my best friend from the side of the stage, and he is just playing his heart out in front of 15,000 people, and they are just eating it up and everything, getting all that energy and stuff. It got so intense, and then totally felt a couple tears coming down the side of my face. Then
so
I look
sweet.
over at the stage manager, and he was just first time, and he was almost a little confused, and I just went, "Oh, this is the first time I ever got to watch my friend on something this big, and it's a little heavy, man." And all he did was go, "All right," and so that was pretty fun. But it was funny enough. I believe it was Spencer actually got footage of me because right before Steel Beans went on.
Oh, Spencer Duffy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're right before Steel Beans went on, we're finishing staging the stage real quick because we had just a very short time to do it. And the MC had already come out and started doing a spiel. And as I'm running off the stage, I realized I still have the set list in my hand.
Oh.
And so then I run back, put it on the drum stool real quick. And as I'm running away, he's just and we got cowboys on the stage? This is crazy. As I'm running by, Leanne, Bert's wife, was just good save. But
That's so awesome.
but yeah, no, it was, and just the experience, it was, I just have to say this, the views are great at the Gorge, but when you are back in the green room area and stuff, you just get that much better of a view because there's not so many obstructions in the way. Big Jay Okerson fan. He's a fellow New Yorker, and just definitely so I got to catch him. My brother JP absolutely loves him, and so I got to catch him behind the green room area where it's just this one walkway that's just right on the fence line, and you're just looking into the Gorge, and you get to see some caves and stuff like that. And he's just sitting looking, and then I come over, and we just sit there, and next thing you know, it's not even talking about anything, almost more just pontificating on just what lives in those caves. And I wonder how many rattlesnakes are around here. So I started nerding out, being well, sir, I'm kind of a snake nerd, and if you in this region, you don't really have to worry because they're not quite as venomous as your diamondbacks you'd find down in the south or the sidewinders. And just started going off, and it was just a real good down-to-earth people. It was really just a really fun experience. Got to the biggest thing with the Mark Norman thing is he wasn't on the bill, so none of us were, like me or Jeremy,
he wasn't.
weren't expecting him to be there. And he had been on other dates of the tour, and it was just like, oh man, he was doing all these, and he's not going to be here for this one, and he ended up being there. And I can never say his name right, but Stavros.
Yeah.
So Jeremy looks very similar to Stavros, and it was just,
I'm picturing the picture of Stavros, Bert, Mark, and maybe Andrew all naked. Yeah. We were down in catering and just like at the bottom of the hill, like looking up, being like, oh look, all those guys are naked. And then just... You were looking up at the front of them?
Yeah. And far enough away where you couldn't see detail and
stuff.
That
was Stavros, not Jeremy on the side.
Yes. Even though we did get invited to the water slides, but by the time we got up to the water slides, because they travel with their own water slide set to just like have fun.
Of course.
And that was interesting because we were kind of just waiting to see like... especially just being part of the road crew, but it was cool because Jeremy, all he kept saying is, no, just say you're the supporting band, flash that badge, man, go wherever you can.
Oh, man, that's
and
so awesome.
So we did, and it was very cool because you just walk up to security and you just flash the badge, and it's like, we went into people's box seats that like, just to do it, where it's like, oh, I'm going to check out this box seat, I'm going to see their setup. Oh, that's pretty cool. And funny thing is, side of the stage at the Gorge is not the greatest of sounds because you're not getting it. It's not directly in front of you and stuff, and you're getting a lot of slap back. So it's a very interesting dynamic because you'd think it'd be like wicked awesome and stuff, but like it's great because you just get to see behind the scenes and all the close up of everything. But really, it's just like sound wise, it's like you're kind of better off at least a little bit in front of the speaker. But no, that was an unreal time, and I'm very excited for Jeremy and this good old Steel Beans. I just kind of laugh because I've been trying so hard not to just constantly tell people he's my best friend because I don't want to be that guy and stuff. But this Sunday, Brody Nation, it was cool because I got him to come out and Jeremy played with me for the Sunday morning set.
I didn't know that.
So we did and when we play, it's basically like a comedy musical show. Like, because I think we forget there's a crowd and we're basically just trying to make each other laugh and see who can get each other to like break on stage.
Love that. Yeah.
And 100% improvised. Like, I had sent him a set list. He had lost the set list. I sent it to him again. It didn't go through because I had no service. And then I played maybe 3 songs off of the original set list, and everything else was kind of off the cuff. Got a little awkward for a little bit.
Did you get him to laugh? Who cracked first?
I think I cracked first.
Okay.
But it was a very expletive Sunday morning and fantastic. But no, I was just like, just talking to my friend Davin from the Stax Brothers. Name drops all this episode. There's going to be tons of name drops. But Davin Stedman from the Stax Brothers, like, I was talking to him and had apologized, being like, oh, I hate to interrupt you guys. And just like, he looked and he's just like, you're his best friend. I'm like, oh, I don't want to do that. And he's just like, yeah, but we all know you were there when no one else was like there saying it. And it's just like, I mean, you got a point, but I still don't want to use that yet. I mean, I'm going to wait till he's a couple rungs higher, but absolutely so proud of him though. Like, he's made me cry several times just seeing how good the progress is going.
That's awesome. Yeah. Where does he normally play? Like,
so
Everett,
Seattle. He does play up north occasionally. Like, you can find him at the Boxcar every once in a blue moon. Not so much. I mean, now he's definitely more like right now. He's currently working on finishing up his album.
Oh, cool.
Which not quite sure when that's going to be. I think a little more timely than when I say I'm going to release an album, but. But he's working on an album right now. I think he does have some more plans to tour in the fall. Yeah. But that's going to be more, I think, of a national thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just at this point, everybody missed their chance. Like, I mean, he did just play at Nectar the Friday before the comedy festival.
Oh, did he?
Which was 15th, 16th, actually, now that I'm thinking about it.
Okay, yeah.
And he played, at the Nectar, he played that Friday. Well, and that was funny, because I saw you that the night before, that Friday night at the Barley and Brew.
Yeah.
And I had immediately left that gig. I stopped at my house. I dropped off all my gear, and then I basically drove down to Linwood to meet the boys, unload all their stuff, get everything ready to leave for Eastern Washington the next morning. Ended up sleeping on his son's bunk bed. With Sean, his bass player / other roadie, was on the bottom bunk. I had the top bunk, and I'm a little upset because his child's bed was way more comfortable than mine. And I was sitting there being like, I need to do better in life. But we met through a friend, Christine Michelle, but met through music because she had seen me before. I used to play at this thing called Joe's Underground every Friday night in Seattle, underneath the Seattle Hotel in their lounge called Bernard's, and medieval painting murals all over the walls, and they hadn't remodeled since like 81, so everything looked very I think it's the most haunted hotel in Seattle.
Is it? Wow.
Yeah. And that's probably just because they haven't remodeled since all the murders. But, real nice place. But I had been playing there every Friday night for a songwriter's night thing called Joe's Underground. And Christine had seen me there once before. And then she was friends with Jeremy, and she was like, oh, you've got to come see this guy. I think you need to meet this human being. And we met that night after my set, and I mean, basically been friends ever since. It really just instantly clicked. And within a month or so, we were already doing music stuff together. And then he was the drummer for the Rainy Day Devils for a while after Bryce, the first drummer, left the band and stuff. And so then Jeremy was the drummer for a couple of years, and I was in one form of Steel Beans at one point because it's gone through so many.
Steel Beans is not just him.
Well, it is. No, it is and it isn't. It's like it's his band. Basically, it's his band, and it can be anywhere from 1 to so far 11 pieces.
11?
Yeah, horn section, background singers, the whole works. Vibraphone, like just. The last thing he did was like a 6-piece psychedelic band that was just really cool.
So if you go to one of his shows, maybe like you don't know what you're going to see.
Well,
it could be just him.
The way it works is it kind of worked like once a year. He would like revamp the band, spend a good amount of time getting it perfected, because he's like a real Frank Zappa type in the sense of like he wants it exactly the way as he like has it, wants it, and which is great. I mean, he earned that, but yeah, so it'd be like each new year you kind of got a different formation of Steel Beans and such. Yeah. And then he'd basically wipe the chalkboard clean and start over again.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
So like real neat though. And just I remember at this 15th anniversary show, and next thing you know, like you went out to it and it was almost like a high school reunion of like seeing members of Steel Beans being like, oh yeah, 09 through 2011, how's it going, man? I was in 017. All right.
So it's kind of like Bare Feet, where like members just kind of
they're
always welcome back for shows.
Kind of more like a Spinal type thing. It's kind of most of them spontaneously combust. And they just don't know what happens to them.
That's the movie, right? I've never seen it.
I mean, this is Spinal Tap, a fantastic film.
Okay, should I watch
I
it?
highly suggest it. It's a rock and roll classic.
Okay. Was Spinal Tap actually a band?
No.
Or was that just like a fake band for the movie?
That was a fake band for the movie, but it was like such a good satire that a lot of people like thought they were a real band.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And but it's funny because it's like that's the same people who do like A Mighty Wind and Best in Show. It's like it's all those same people, but I want to say that came out.
Are you gonna go take your daughter to see Barbie?
No. No, because
who would go see that? It's terrible.
A lot of kids, a lot of teenagers, a lot of adults. A lot of people are going to
I saw it with
see
Miguel on Sunday. I went as a joke. Thought it would be kind of funny. I had texted a few people, and as I was texting Miguel I was trying to get Tony's number from him. At the same time, my friend texted me and said, I can't go. Olive said she didn't want to go. And I go, you want to go see Barbie? LOL. He goes, sure. He picked me out 25 minutes later. And it wasn't terrible.
I was
really
good actors
shocked,
like
impressed.
Ryan Gosling. I can see playing just a really good airhead.
Yeah. I think people that like it, they're like me. They go in expecting total and utter just terrible, and you're like, oh, it's not too bad. Whereas if you're going in expecting a good movie, you might be like, it was okay.
Yeah.
But when you're going expecting the worst,
Well, it can only go up from there, and that's what people should do when they come to my shows. Especially if it's not an all ages venue, which really has been my highlight lately. Other than festivals, I don't care. It's a festival. You give me the morning set, I'm going to give you a probably should be 2 a.m. set. But my sleep depth set at the Holler was pretty epic. Like, I mean, I didn't know what was going on for most of it. And
do you remember it, or like at the end you just kind of woke up and you're like, oh, I blacked out for an hour?
Well, no, I remember it. A lot of pontification. I'm really big on that word lately, and just a lot of self-reflection.
Did you name drop during Holler?
I tried not to, but it happened because that was just like the day after. So I'm sitting there being like, well, I can never go to a gourd show like the Peasants again. Jeez, like that's going to be rough. I don't even know if I want to at this point. Which
buy a ticket like a loser.
I love though. Mark Normand at the show described it as the Grand Canyon if it went to Coachella, and I thought that was like, wow, that is a real good description of just like kind of the vibe at the gorge. Yeah. Big J Okerson had a really good he was talking about like the smell of gun smoke in the air, and all of a sudden he's just like, no, that's meth. I know the area. And it was just like, there was just moments where it was like a good call out of the crowd, and you could just tell like might have hit him a little hard to home, but like and the one point I cried at the show was, and this is almost so at one point Bert had everyone sing God Bless America. And that was funny because that made me realize 30% of Americans know God Bless America. There was so much just like, land, like, and you'd hear it 15,000 deep. And then, went into the national anthem, and, I'd say 93% of Americans probably know all the words. And so at one point, you just had 15,000 people all at once just singing it. I'm singing along, Jeremy's singing along, the whole crew's singing along, just like you just felt so much energy and just like it was so big.
That's awesome.
That, got a little emotional. That was one that sent some tears down the face, and it was just like, this is what the country should be. Why does our government suck? And, and lots of reasons, but I won't get into that on this podcast.
Well, and so you played the Holler at noon, and you said you didn't get there till like 10 or so. Why did you not sleep? How was this after party? Let's talk about that.
So I will not actually mention too much. No, it was funny. I laughed about it. VIP, there's, catering was pretty good. Yeah. More desserts than just actual foods. They just had a hot dog stand going for the VIP party. Yeah. People were more concerned about the bar. But it was just funny because since, like, me and the majority of the crew are all cigarette smokers, we noticed a majority of the folks, like all of them, weren't. So we figured we'd hang out on the other side of the VIP area just to smoke and stuff and not bother them around the food and whatnot. But at one point rewind the day when I first met Mark Normand. He was talking to Jeremy. I went over. I said something to Jeremy, and then I looked at Mark, and I was just like, "Man, you're like, I love your work. You're one of my favorites. As far as modern day, I think you're one of the top tier, absolutely." Yeah. And he just went, "Oh, thanks, man. If I were gay, I'd suck your dick." And my instant response was like, "Well, I'm not, but I'd let you." So fast forward, VIP party. We're all sitting over in the corner and stuff, and he comes over to just be like, say hey. He was talking to Jeremy a little bit and being like, you guys don't have to sit so far away. Like, you come over with the rest of us. And we mentioned how we were just smoking. And I went, well, hey, Mark, you ready for that dick sucking? Because I've been looking forward to it. And I caught it, but like I did, I almost thought I caught him off guard. And then all of a sudden he came back with sure, but you got to leave the hat on. Like it was a good just a fun experience, like just being able to it was just fun, and then just getting to chit chat with what I mean. There was a beautiful cheers at the end, so they all got together and said some really sweet things, and it was awesome because Jeremy got to talk, and Jeremy's like kind of pouring his heart out at one point, and the rest of the road crew is sitting there looking at each other like, Jeremy, don't go too long, Jeremy, because everyone's nervous like about the whole celebrity of it, and I'm sitting there Jeremy, please make this like 45 seconds to a minute too awkwardly. Like just to the point where it's like, I want you to go over this much of like where it's just more like why is this guy still talking thing? And he didn't though. I mean, it was a real good time. It was just a lot of fun.
That's
just
awesome.
Getting to just experience that and watch it was cool. And I hope to see it more in the future. And that's why I'm relying on the coattails of Steel Beans. Because folk music's not going to do it. I've learned that a while ago. And I refuse to call myself Americana because I just don't fit. Like, not laid back enough. I mean,
so the Brody Festival, though, how long have you been doing that?
Brody Nation, I believe this was my 5th year doing it.
What's the story behind? I've never heard of it.
So it's a festival down in Carnation.
Is there a guy named Brody?
No, it's held by Morgan Henley, and it's on a property that his father, Hippie Henley, as he went by, has been doing like community events down on the property for like 40 some years and such. And Brody Nation was something his son Morgan put together like 16 years ago, where he started just having bands come out and stuff. And over the last 16 years, it's built up to a point where this year was the first year that they sold out completely of weekend passes and camping and all that, and it was a complete sellout.
Wow.
And Morgan Henley is great in the sense of he is probably, I think, one of the best bookers in the state as far as being able to pull together musical acts, and he always just he knows where to find the heavy hitters in the sense of just, I've never really seen a band that I didn't like that he suggested, including myself.
I saw Savannah was there too.
She played a set on Sunday.
Nice.
And great job. She had a few musician friends from the festival come up and play.
Oh, cool.
All the bands were phenomenal. The one kick in the ass about working it is it's great because I basically am guaranteed to see every band at the Koa stage, and did, but you you miss your chance to bounce between and miss every. There's a couple sets that I wish I could have caught more of, but due to timing and just having to run, basically, it felt like I ran about 70 miles over 4 days just between the back and forth of running between the stages and stuff. Because, I mean, it's this, I forget the exact acreage, but it's like 100-acre property, something like that. And the festival's all throughout it. And the stage, you have to go through some trails and stuff to get to the Koa stage. Because the Koa stage is right on the Tolt, well, not right on the Tolt River, but it's a good, 80-foot walk to the river.
Wow.
And this year he even had a little river stage that was specific to, had 4 singers from Nashville come out and do a Nashville showcase.
Wow.
Out right on the river on all the rocks and stuff, where a lot of the party, those are the dedicated campers, the one that set up their tents and stuff out on the beach, because it's not like sandy beaches. It's just like good old
typical Washington
beaches, which this year I was lucky enough to make sure I got there early enough to where I guaranteed myself a camping spot. I probably was 40 feet 50 feet from the stage, and it was nice to where I didn't have to travel too far. I didn't make it last year due to just some family stuff going on, but the year before, I had camped in a different spot than I usually do, and by the time I was done working, it would take me 45 minutes to an hour just to find my tent again, because it was like pitch black and whatnot. Because usually, basically, I would get done working by about 4 o'clock in the morning each morning. Each night of the festival, which takes me back to the whole gorge thing. So the whole gorge thing, why I didn't sleep, is basically we by the time the show was all over and stuff, we left. It was like 2 in the morning. We didn't get back to Jeremy's house till like 5 in the morning.
Yeah.
Then we unloaded all of his stuff for him and kind of said our goodbyes. And by the time I left Linwood, it was like about 7 o'clock.
Oh, okay.
So I basically got home, knew that if I even tried to fall asleep that I might not wake up. So then, I have this theory, 3 Red Bulls in an hour equal a bump. So I did that, and then I got myself really cleaned up, good hot shower. That was kind of a cool thing. I took a shower at the gorge, in the middle of the show. There's a green room with sorry.
No, you're fine.
There's a green room with the whole shower setup and everything like that. And it was like halfway through the show and just had been dumping buckets of sweat. And it was nice to actually get a quick rinse and everything. So it was cool.
Well, that shower was used by probably
I believe I was right after Mark
Bert.
Normand. I made a point. Bert had his own complete separate room.
So
Everybody else was sharing.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
So good time had by
Nice.
all though. It's just been real busy. And tonight I'm going to be up in the Ham at the Horseshoe Cafe in the Ranch Room from 9 to 11. I'm there 2nd and 4th Tuesday of the month. Every month, and now I'm confused, though, because there's 5 Tuesdays this month, so I don't know if they're just taking a Tuesday off or if we're going to keep alternating, because then I won't be the 2nd and 4th
True.
Tuesday. I'll be the 1st and 3rd. It's gonna get weird for a while.
You and Michael David should arm wrestle for that
for the
spot.
5th spot. No,
Have you met him?
No, I don't think I've actually met. I've only known him through your podcast.
Okay. He plays every other Tuesday when you're playing. He plays at, I want to say Menace. Is there a place called Menace Brewing? Yeah, he plays up there.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So
when
he
he's not
stays
playing.
busy every Tuesday.
And he teaches constantly, too.
See, I just alternate between one Tuesday I'm there and then one Tuesday I'm at the strip club.
Oh, okay.
For an honest day's work.
I forgot that you worked there because you, I felt like there was a while where you just had to show every single night. And then I think I asked you what you were doing one night and you're like, oh, I'm at work. I'm like, oh yeah, the strip club. I forgot you worked there.
Well, this month I only worked 4 days. And the month is almost over and I'm not really I'm gigging for basically the rest of the month. And I think, I think it's basically I worked 4 days this month and somehow I don't get fired. But that's my number one thing is, I do know because one of my good friends, one of my real good friends, CJ, is basically my boss for the day shift and even the regional manager and stuff. Though I looked and if they give me a hard time, I look at them and I just say, you can always fire me. And they haven't yet. So
they haven't. So we're midway through the summer. Are there more festivals coming up?
I don't have any more. I'm going to Crash Birdstock.
Oh, right.
I had talked several times to everyone involved there and still somehow didn't get on the lineup. So I'm just going to go Crash, no ticket, no nothing.
Yeah.
I'm just going to show up and I'm probably going to sit in during Bill's set or something. Maybe just... Yeah, maybe even just hold up a protest sign about something that has not, like an anti-firefighter protest sign at the stock that raises money for the firefighters. I want to get as much money together as I can so I can get a down payment so I can buy a decently absurd amount of property somewhere in the Southwest, thinking New Mexico, maybe Arizona area, maybe Texas, just for business license reasons. And just because also it's something I could realistically afford.
Yeah.
And then, because I realize just the more and more I think about it, when I think about home base and stuff, it's with the work I do, it doesn't I don't have to be set to one spot because I'm barely tied down as it is, only by my own ball and chain, if you will. Thinking that it's just like, so I was thinking next couple of years I'm really going to try to make that push because I just want to get a whole big property and then almost homestead it. I'm even cool with just like raw acreage, maybe with a water source, and then probably go solar, and just I have this whole big idea in my head, and by the end of it I'll end up one of those really crazy old men in the desert that you drive by in their crazy shack and they just sit there laughing the whole time. Yeah, that's gonna be me.
Or like, cult leader. I was thinking cult leader.
I would love to start a cult, like but like a cool one, not like murderous or like
not like creepy like Chris
like
D'Elia's.
The opposite of Chris D'Elia's. Or at least like go for cougars and not minors, just like make it a safer one.
Do you know I have a Chris D'Elia tattoo?
That's hilarious.
Okay, I got it before all that stuff came out.
Yeah, I'm sure you did. I'm sure you did.
No, all the stuff came out and I was like, yes. No, I have life rips right here. Which it does.
It really does. So
it doesn't say Chris D'Elia with a heart on it. It just says life rips.
Just because someone's done terrible things doesn't mean they haven't like added something cool to society.
Yes.
So I didn't know you were a cult member, and that's cool. I mean,
so the other day at Barley and Brew, you played a new song, and I was like, "What? It's got a new song? I didn't hear about this." So it's called Letters or Letters?
Yeah, Letters.
Okay, what's this about?
Okay, so it started out when I first started writing it. It started out as just I was going to try to write a political song and get all kind of tongue in cheek about shit, and so that's kind of where the first verse goes. But then it got me thinking more to the root of the problem and stuff, and just like I don't know about other people, but like modern politics makes me depressed. Like that's about at this point now I don't even get angry anymore. I'm just pretty much sad about the overall situation and where we're going and everything. And so then I decided and started, that sent me off on a whole nother tangent because I don't know, the last couple months have kind of been weird. There's been some family friend things going on that just stay there, and just just different experience has been happening, just things going. Life's weird. Life can be weird. It's it rips, but it can be weird.
You're never gonna let me forget that.
Right. Shouldn't have told me that. But like, so then I decided to kind of it changed veins to where it went from this like the one thing that makes me angry to an overall just. Yeah. Look, I humanized depression, turned it into a person, and then be like writing a letter to them as if that was just like a human being, as opposed to just being this emotion / sometimes illness type thing people go through. And so it's a song about that. It's it's one of my usual like nice happy melodies and stuff with really fucked up words if you sit and listen to them. But so one of my classics, I'll say. I've been digging it. It's funny because like it's serious topics and it shouldn't be like but I kind of get a giggle out of just seeing the reaction of just because it deals with like depression and suicide and things that are heavy. But it got me thinking more about that, like when people are just like, especially during like Suicide Awareness Month, all that, you get people where they're just like, well, don't be afraid to talk about it. But when people actually start talking about it, it's more like, oh, well, you should go see somebody, to where it kind of in my head defeats the purpose. Like, well, there's no good time to talk about it. So any chance you need to get it out, you should just get it out. Thing seems to be the healthier choice to me, as opposed to when it's, but only when it's convenient for me, okay? Just like I don't want to deal with, so so it just got me thinking of that, and like kind of the hypocrisies in a lot of those things where people are always just the first to be like, oh, well, you need to do this, and this, and when it comes to actually like showing action, it's more just oh, well, no, not me. You should tell that guy. But
I'll always be there for you, except if you call me, I'm not going to answer the phone.
It's just like, oh, you'll get my voicemail, and I'll text you 3 days later. Sup?
Well, I was going to bring up Jack. Did you listen to his episode?
I did.
Yeah.
It was good.
Do you have any feedback on?
Oh, no.
anything
I'll see him. That's all I'm going to say is I'll see him. And it's fine. I mean, yes, it is. It's okay.
Watch your back. Is that what you're saying too?
People say narcissist like it's a bad thing. And I just never got that because what do you want? Do you want confidence or not? Even though I really found the secret really to modern day comedy is just self-degradation. Dear politicians, I'm just sitting here and listening. Every word you said to me has been a lie. I bet you'd sell your mother to someone who didn't love her just because there is a profit, and that's the bottom line. I just can't understand what's behind your plans. You gave up your humanity for greed. You're telling me it's for the best. I'm thinking it's my time to leave. Well, dear depression, I've been sitting here and wishing you would leave my family and friends alone. Well, life's been kind of hellish, and I may be sounding selfish, but when I see you, darling, I just want you for my own. I'm tired of the tears, watching through the years. Try picking on someone your own size. Well, you may be bigger than me, but that don't mean I ain't that guy. Dear Smith and Wesson, I might make a small confession. Know exactly what to steal, it tastes like. The rain's been pouring, but the sun, it's up, it's morning. So into the Chester drawer you go, where my fate resides. It's just another way of getting through the day, knowing that there's one thing I control. And you ain't taking that from me, so I'll be taking back this soul. Well, dear depression, is there someone that you're missing? You can tell me as I sit down by your side. I've got these shoulders and 2 arms so I can hold you just in case you want to let it out, or if you want to hide. Knowing how you feel, questioning the real. Has anyone ever asked what caused your pain? And you can take it out on me, depression, I am here to stay. Well, dear depression, I've been sitting here and listening. Every word you said to me has been a lie.
So is that going to be on the new album? Let me get it right. The U is inconsequential? No, what is it?
That starts with I. And you're a teacher. The U is.
Did I get it wrong?
The U is.
Oh, undeniable. Sorry.
Even though a little behind the scenes, it actually sounds like, according to my boss at Salmonella Records, it sounds like come October we're just going to release a deluxe version of The D is Silent with some extra songs that didn't make the first cut and some finished up revamped things. And so I said, are we really going to release the same album twice in a year? And he said, you're goddamn right, we're going to release the same album twice in a year. So get ready, the deluxe version. I went to a new gas station I had never gone to before. And I'm just saying that because immediately afterwards, my check engine light starts flashing.
What?
Pull over, car's misfiring, don't know what it is. Think about it being like, I haven't done my spark plugs in a while. I hope it's not a head gasket. But as me and my friend are trying to commute to work, keeps happening. So I pull over at one point on the side of the freeway just to, make sure my car's not going to blow up, get it to where it's not flashing anymore. Continue down the road, screw in my tire. Was trying to run around trying to find tires, and I have no budget. I am working with like sub $200, and I drive a 4x4, so no tire place wants me to go with buying less than 4 at a time.
Yeah.
Also dealing with this, and then so fix a flat and a prayer is what I did, and it ended up working. And the screw had slowly wedged itself so deep into the hole it plugged it between that and the fix-a-plat.
Well, that's good.
So I got through the weekend with only having to fill it once or twice. I was able to locate some tires, but still had to drive down to Tacoma to get them.
Oh my gosh.
And then drive back, and I had bought tires and rims, and after reading my owner's manual and several other places saying those rims would fit, they in fact did not.
Oh my gosh.
But it's cool. I just had to come up with a spare scratch, and I do have my secret sponsor that helped me out with that, and so then I was able to actually get tires fresh this morning, and they're actually pretty decent, and it feels a whole new human being. But so been dealing with all these car problems, and on top of that, I am a folk singer, so it's usually a very minimal budget that I'm working with, because I'm just basically every time I have a gig, a new bill gets paid. Just remember that, and I want to thank all of you for helping me do that. But www.zachmichaud.com. I was saving it for the end, just because song's over now. It's all the time for my plugs.
Wait, the Jamestown Saloon, was that the one a month ago when you got naked on stage?
I wasn't naked, but
and someone filmed it.
I was in my underwear.
Boxers,
Yes.
Yeah.
So not quite a Crystalia.
I love how we did drop a lot of stuff on here, and that's the one thing you want me to edit out.
Right.
Don't destroy the fridges.
Yeah, no.
Because everyone's going to listen to this episode. Because we're mentioning Andrew Santino and Mark Norman
and Bert.
Showering after Mark Norman and sexual favors. And
that may probably didn't happen, but they could have.
Oh, you're winking at me.
It was talked about. It was talked about, so it's cool. But yeah, for the millions of listeners out there on the Spotify and your favorite DSPs, just remember, go to www.zachmichaud.com, send me some money so I can keep showering before famous comedians.
All right, thanks, Zach.
Yeah, thank you.